You're watching LTC News with Dane Henning.
Welcome to CNA TV Long-Term Care News. I'm Dane Henning. Today is Friday, March 23rd, 2018. After receiving criticism as being lax, the Pennsylvania Department of Health has increased the number of citations given for inadequate staffing in Philadelphia area nursing homes over the last 2 years. The agency cited facilities 12 times last year for violations of staffing rules, up from 6 in 2016 and no more than 2 in any of the previous 8 years. The citations are for not meeting the minimum of 2.7 hours per day of direct nursing care per patient, not having a registered nurse on duty when required, or more broadly, not having enough staff to meet the needs of patients as defined in their care plans. Bellhaven Healthcare and Rehabilitation Center in Quakertown was cited in 2014, 16, and 17 for inadequate staffing. Also cited for a lack of staffing was St. Francis Center for Rehabilitation and Healthcare in Darby Borough, which had its license revoked after an inspection last year and now has a provisional license. The state later fined the facility over $675,000 for a wide range of violations. Russ McDade, president of the Pennsylvania Healthcare Association, a nursing home trade group in Harrisburg, downplayed the increase. He cited the health department's policy change in July of 2015 to allow anonymous complaints after they were prohibited for 3 years. A 2016 Pennsylvania Auditor General's report criticized the department as not doing enough to ensure sufficient nursing staffing levels. That report mentioned a federal suggestion of a 4.1 hours per day minimum for nursing care and noted that Pennsylvania's minimum was set in 1999. The Philadelphia Inquirer reporting. The Florida Department of Health this week asked a circuit judge to dismiss a public records lawsuit filed by a Broward County nursing home where residents died after Hurricane Irma. The Rehabilitation Center at Hollywood Hills filed the case last month in Leon County Circuit Court, alleging that the department had improperly refused to provide copies of death certificates for people across the state from September 9th through September 16th, a week-long period that included Hurricane Irma and its immediate aftermath. The lawsuit said that the Department of Health responded to the public records request by requiring the nursing home to request each death certificate by the name of the person who had died and to use a department form. Attorneys for the nursing home alleged that such requirements violate the state's public records law. But in a 10-page motion filed Monday, the department argued that the case should be dismissed. The motion contends that the nursing home's large request falls under part of the state's law dealing with a vital records or data, and that the nursing home's request doesn't meet legal standards for releasing such information. The motion said that the nursing home is not the type of entity which may be receiving this data. The lawsuit did not detail the reasons for seeking the death certificates, but the nursing home has been locked in legal battles over the state's attempt to revoke its license. Hurricane Irma knocked out the home's air conditioning on September 10th, and residents were evacuated from the sweltering facility on September 13th. Authorities have attributed 12 deaths to the problems at the nursing home. News 4 Jacksonville reporting. We'll be back right after this break.
We look at NACA as the professional organization that supports the CNA, just like the American Association of Long-Term Care Nurses supports the RNs and LPNs.
As a state executive, I can tell you that the energy and the empowerment that this organization has given to our state has truly enhanced the depth of membership and the work that we do as a state association. I am very, very proud of our connection and our partnership with the National Association of Healthcare Assistants.
For more information, visit us online at nacacna.org or call 417-623-6049.
I suppose I shouldn't be complaining because I have several friends and relatives up in northern Iowa who have it a lot worse than I do down here in southern Missouri right now. The past can hurt. You can either run from it or you can learn from it.
Watch Katie in the Morning with Katie Page, weekdays, 10 a.m. Central.
A Chartier, Houston 7th grader, is planning a special Easter for 120 residents of the McMurray, Pennsylvania senior living facility. Lucas Tremmel, who will turn 13 in April, was inspired to do something kind for others by his teacher, who sends cards to nursing home residents during the holidays. Lucas's great-grandmother Melda is a resident of Manor Care Health in McMurray, so he decided to focus his giving there with Easter baskets. He began collecting baskets and gifts for every resident, but once his parents posted his plan on social media, donations came pouring in. Friends, strangers, and businesses have donated. The Tremmel home in Houston continues to fill with donations including blankets, socks, mugs, toiletries, stuffed animals, candy, crossword puzzle books, coloring books, markers, and more. Lucas said that his school has been very supportive in his efforts, and other students have brought in donations, and he, his family, and volunteers have been permitted to come in on Good Friday to assemble the baskets. From there, he will then begin delivering them to Manor Care. In addition, Lucas said Angela's Restaurant is donating a meal to Manor Care employees. The Observer reporter in Washington, Pennsylvania, reporting. A Georgia man charged with threatening 5 nursing home workers after his sister's death has been sentenced to 2 years in prison. The Cobb County District Attorney's Office said John Wallace told employees of Signature Healthcare in Marietta in April 2017, quote, "I will kill you, I will come with a gun and shoot you all." The Atlanta Journal-Constitution reported Wallace tried to force his way into a nurse's station through a locked door around 11 p.m. and banged loudly on the counter at the nurses' carts. An employee who ran outside to call 911 thought the sounds were gunshots, a spokeswoman for the district attorney's office said on Friday. Cobb Superior Court Judge Robert Flournoy sentenced Wallace to serve 2 years in custody, followed by 8 years of probation. Flournoy also said that Wallace, a native of Liberia, could be deported after he is released from prison. McKnight's Long-Term Care News reporting. Minnesota Governor Mark Dayton wants to invest $15 million on new protections and oversights to keep the state's most vulnerable citizens safe. The Democratic governor highlighted a group of proposals with bipartisan support that would streamline reports of abuse, increasing licensing requirements for long-term care facilities, and strengthen penalties for those who hurt seniors and vulnerable adults. The proposals come after it was revealed last year that the State Department of Health investigated too few allegations of abuse in long-term care homes, and those responsible for harming residents were rarely punished. An investigation released last week by the state legislative auditor, a government watchdog, found failed management of the Office of Health Facility Complaints led to lost files and, quote, poor decisions when staff investigated abuse complaints. Dayton noted that more than 54,000 Minnesotans live in long-term care facilities. He said regulations were caught off guard by the recent flood of abuse allegations, which has increased by 50% over 5 years. GOP State Senator Karen Housley said that the proposals backed by the governor were a good start, but they didn't go far enough. Housley said that more attention needs to be paid to the failures of the state oversight system. Lawmakers have limited time to find common ground, with legislative session scheduled to wrap up in May. Advocates for seniors encourage lawmakers to act quickly and finalize new protections. Twin Cities Pioneer Press reporting. Now for In the Headlines. From McKnight's Long-Term Care News. Congress looks ready to ignore MedPAC and make its own Medicare reform. Even as the Medicare Payment Advisory Commission called for cuts to skilled nursing in its semi-annual report to Congress this week, lawmakers appeared ready to shape the payment reform themselves. MedPAC called on Congress to eliminate the Medicare market basket rate increases for fiscal years 2019 by 2% and 2020 2.1%, and roll out a new prospective payment system for skilled nursing facilities in 2019. Louisiana notifying 16,000 nursing home residents they could be forced out in a funding fight. About 60,000 elderly or disabled Medicaid recipients in Louisiana are being told that they should expect to lose their benefits in July, and advocates say more than a quarter of them could be forced out of long-term care facilities they call home. The official notifications were the result of a stalemate over the state budget, which expires June 30th. Democratic Governor John Bel Edwards has proposed eliminating some Medicaid programs that provide long-term care in order to cope with the $994 million deficit. This has been your long-term care news update. Everyone have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you next week.